the topic of artificial intelligence is incredibly complex. And my job is to make sure I could get all the fluff out and tell you how it's going to affect your life. Here's my final question before I answer that question. Who really cares about the future? And here's the second to the last final question. Who's invested in a company or invest in a fund who's a limited partner that invests in current artificial intelligence companies? Oof. Okay. Good. So, am I supposed to answer the question now? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about electricity. Okay. So, for those of you that may or may not know this, there was a war of currents back in 1920s, 1930s. And who remembers that? The war of the currents, right? It's the AC versus DC. You know, when, of course, Edison invented DC, interestingly enough, employed Tesla. Tesla said, nah, I'm going to create AC. And what's very interesting about that interaction is Edison did everything he could, basically, to discredit AC power, electrocuting human beings and helpless animals just to demonstrate a point. And this was the war of the currents. It went on for a while until finally this World Fair in Chicago showed one of the superiorities of AC currents. Right? Aldo, why are you giving me a lecture on electricity? We can all agree that right now we are supremely affected by the electrical grid. If you look inside your bags, inside your pockets, on your tables, you have a cell phone there. Correct? Take a look at it for 5 seconds. Like, I'm the only person suggesting that right now. Take a look at your cell phone. Your cell phone runs on DC energy. Did you know that? Direct current. Now, to charge it, that charger is actually a hybrid system. It runs on AC-DC. Your transmission lines are AC. Aldo, this is so confusing. Why are you telling me about a band, AC-DC? What I'm trying to say, folks, is there's a world where AC and DC work, right? For long distances, you need AC. For short distances, more efficient, like, for batteries, transistors, or the things that power computers, they're DC. There is a purpose. Now, Eric, you're probably wondering, this long-winded history story about AC-DC, where are you getting at? So we're talking about artificial intelligence, right? Okay. So imagine a world where only Edison won, and the whole AC concept wasn't even thought about. Successfully buried in a world where we only ran on DC. We would need nuclear power plants in every city. We would need, because you can't transmit over long lines with DC. It's resistance for electrical engineers here. I'm oversimplifying and I will offend you, I know. So in a world only with DC, you won't be able to transmit energy over long lines. So how could energy ever reach even the farthest parts of India, the farthest parts of Africa, the farthest parts of the country I come from, the Philippines? You would have to have all of those power plants, nuclear power plants, in every city, every street, just to be able to do it. That is a world where only Edison won and Tesla completely silenced. What the hell does that have to do with artificial intelligence right now? because AI is experiencing the AC-DC moment. Currently, we are building only on DC. Think about that for 5 seconds. All of the infrastructure that's being built, powered by the large companies, are being built on DC only. That's why you have centralized, powerful companies that control all of the compute, all of the power, all of the training, and all of the inferencing. So imagine 20, 30, 40 years down the line, and you want to bring AI to the world, it's going to be controlled by a few people. Imagine if energy was controlled by a few people. I cannot allow that to happen.
So what are you going to do about it?
Who here knows what ODEs and PDEs are? Okay, so I can't go that technical. So the point is not to self-promote. The point is to tell you the problem that needs to be addressed. So for some of you I met a few years ago, I was an investor. Yes, my co-founder won a Nobel because of our work. And people were wondering, you're not a life scientist, and you predicted her winning a Nobel. And I said, common sense. So I've been using artificial intelligence, I think, since my thesis, 1999. It's been a while, right? I'm mid-40s. It's been a while. I saw that I couldn't invest hard-earned LP money, 50 or 60% of which would just go to 3 or 4 companies that you all know who they are, right? The centralized power. I couldn't do that, so I gave the money back to the LPs. And I know, Alan, you were part of this journey. And I said, I got to solve this. There's actually several types of artificial intelligence, right? One that runs on the GPUs, OpenAI, classical systems. But there's other types of systems. Remember, there's DC, direct current, and there's AC. Which also happens to be my initials. So at least what we do right now is inspired by biology. So Vivum AI basically is, we're not really an AI company because we utilize the intelligence and efficiency of biological systems, right? So who has cats and dogs here? Awesome. They're pretty smart, right? But sometimes they're also pretty dumb, right? But when you actually see a cat hunt, when you see cats hunt, or when you see falcons try to go and surveil, don't you ever wonder the type of intelligence that exists inside those animals, right? So they have neural circuitry in their head. It's called an archetypal neural circuitry. Okay? Big word. Basically, this circuitry is pretty much like a neural network, except it doesn't express itself the same way as a ChatGPT matrix-based system does. I'm glad that the mathematician is agreeing with me. So it's not additions and multiplications. It runs on what engineers know as differential equations. Another big word. No more big words. The point is, what if you could harness, a neural network inside our brain? So our brain, actually, I don't know if you know this, our noggin utilizes 20 watts of energy just so that we can have this intelligent conversation. 20 watts. That's not a lot. ChatGPT, 20 mega or even, I think, gigawatts right now. And I still need to correct it. I don't need to correct my daughter or anyone else. What if you can harness the efficiency of biological systems mathematically, put it in existing systems, and have a system that runs 6,000 times less energy, 40 times faster? And it's been hiding in plain sight. Eric. And again, that's where the future is heading. And someone said DeepSeek earlier, right? You all know what DeepSeek is, right? DeepSeek basically showed that energy and power, things that we spoke about a year ago, there are 600 billion reasons why efficiencies in systems are important. Very, very important. So why am I talking about accessibility? Because if we continue in this trajectory of investing in DC-based AI, let's not how do I say this? Split hairs on which one is AC or DC. If we continue to build systems just on one thing, which is AC or DC, we will not be able to spread artificial intelligence to the wonders. Its wonders to the planet. It will be controlled by a few. I cannot allow that to happen. It's like giving only a few people access to electricity and energy. So, Alan, thank you very much for such a flattering introduction. So I've seen technologies. Cloud computing in 2008. No one even thought about that. Blockchain in 2012. Applied artificial intelligence in life sciences in 2016. I've seen the ebbs and flows of technology over 2.5 decades of doing this. AI is the one. Unfortunately, it is the one that is going to outlive me and outlast. Blockchain, sorry for those folks with blockchain. I used to do the blockchain circuit and then I got disinvited when I said it's really only good for the transfer of value and store value. Which is kind of right. AI is the one that's going to change our lives and our future's lives. And it cannot be controlled by a few. Kind of heavy, but I had to make sure I said it.
No, I love it. And so with that understanding then, Aldo, of making sure that it's decentralized, what is some of the work that you're doing now to democratize access to AI to other parts of the world? I know that some of the things that you do, you can't share for confidentiality as well as for security reasons, but what can you share?
So Vivum is a national security company. So we work with defense. We're a defense company. That's one of our first go-to-markets. Why? The United States government really cares about national security, and I'm a patriot. It's important. The other one is we work with NATO and NATO allies. It's very important. So when you're talking about accessibility, you're talking about what is the stranglehold that current AI or the DC-based AI has right now. It's GPUs and compute. Like, I've invested in several companies in the Philippines, and you're talking about Metro Manila, which is cosmopolitan enough, high-tech enough, no one can get GPUs. You still can't get the V100s or the T100s that people need. How are you supposed to, if you're Hungary or Bulgaria and you have an initiative to do artificial intelligence and you even can't get GPUs because a vast majority of it, of course, is taken by 3 or 4 companies. We know this, plus another 5 or 6 data centers. What if AI could work on already installed hardware, like FPGAs, like CPUs that you already have? It's just a different math.
I love it.
We did it. Again, it's hiding in plain sight. Go to our website. We have a lot of proprietary stuff though, but the point is when you have all of these other countries in Eastern Europe, in Africa that are reaching out to us to have access to the same AI capabilities, but not subject to the stranglehold of supply, which is why it's a very interesting time for me. This is the first company I've ever started where in year one we were profitable. And it's a high-tech company. So that's one. So we want to solve the hardware issue by not selling you new hardware. Awesome. Right? So now people can do it. Second one is, well, the math is a bit more complicated. And for the mathematician in the room, it runs on differential equations. So very much like derivatives. Guess what I did? The same thing I'm doing right now. I'm a communicator. I have just literally went to the lowest common denominator. Anyone with a basic statistics capability can run derivative level mathematics. Basically what Jensen did in 2003. You all know why NVIDIA became NVIDIA, right? Because I game and I've been using NVIDIA chips for a while. His genius wasn't the GPUs. It wasn't. They have other GPUs, like AMD has GPUs. His genius was CUDA. If you don't know what CUDA, who knows what CUDA is? Handful of CUDA basically is the software which built the entire ecosystem around AI development on the GPU. That's genius. And he did that in 2006. Kudos to him. I just built that. 2023. It's ready. So, the point is not to self-promote everyone. The point is legacy and the future. If you've invested in a company right now using classical AI, you are literally, I'm sorry to say this, you're investing in only the DC version. We need a hybrid of both. Because without both, imagine a world where we just had AC. If we just had AC, by the way, you wouldn't have transistors. They wouldn't look like the transistors we have today. It's a hybrid of both.
I have more questions for Aldo, but two things. One, thank you, Aldo, for coming. I don't think I said that at the beginning. I want to open it up to the audience in case people have questions. Aldo's a little bit of a change maker and has a lot of things going on. So if you have a question, I'm going to... Andrew, is Andrew in the room? Or Aaron? I need to volunteer to hold a mic. Aaron, can you go grab a mic and carry it around? Pamela, I see your hand halfway up. So we're going to go to Pamela first, and we have 7 minutes. We're going to do 3 questions, 2 minutes each. If other people have questions, raise your hand, and the first people I see will get it. 1, 2. So Pamela first, and then we're going to go to Mark. Or we'll go to Scott, and then we'll go to Mark.
Thank you so much for your presentation. On the defense level for the United States and internationally, what other companies do you see that are using this certain type of AI? Are you seeing Kratos or Lockheed, or what other kind of defense companies are also headed down this pathway of innovation while they're straddling the older pathway?
They're all using the DC version.
But they must have future plans. They're not going to just stay stuck there.
None. I know. I'm talking to them. Unfortunately. I don't know what else to say. They have all of these investments in GPUs. And here I am telling them that our systems are working on F-16s. And it's, by the way, outmanned on 21 dogfights. It's outmanned every single manned pilot. How? It's for those of you that may want to look into this is ordinary differential equations running non-convex optimization on field programmable gate arrays or CG arrays. I just gave you the entire tech stack. That's it. And it's trained using our accelerated artificial evolution on our proprietary cloud platform. So that's our tech stack. No GPUs.
Scott.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my question, and thank you for all your research and everything you're doing. What is your timeline for launch, and what is your expectation over the next couple of years and the effects?
Oh, we're already available right now. We are actually working with the Department of Defense and several other United States agencies and a ton of conversations with NATO countries that actually, again, we're trying to alleviate the stranglehold of GPUs, the supply of GPUs, because you don't need GPUs data. So for us, it's a function of focus, really. It's a function also of accessibility. We want to make sure that, so we are a defense company. We're not an offense company. So there's a number of ethical things we have to make sure that, so we've withdrawn from several conflicts that, at least we have, our first ever hire was an AI ethicist. So know how much we really care about these things. And then the DoD came knocking first.
Okay, so are you any plans to get into any other industries initially?
We are a dual-use NatSec company, which also means 20% of our company also does industrial. So we do oil and gas.
Okay.
So we can extend the range of your drones by 5,000%. Longer range, basically. So remember, our systems are incredibly efficient. Many orders of magnitude less energy, because from a mathematician's point of view, it's the same. It's a function that it's a much smaller efficient function that you're putting on it's not matrix multiplication. You can look it up.
We'll go to Mark, and then we have Zoe, because we're doing good on time.
Yeah, Aldo, thanks. Part A and Part B, I guess. And then, so we work with a lot of democratizing people, and a lot of people that are looking at AI ethics and AI love intelligence and things like that. The Part A is, you say it's going to be controlled by certain people. So you have people like Elon Musk and all the tech companies right now very involved. Are you talking about them controlling it? And then second question, we also work with a lot of next gen and young entrepreneurs that I would think would love to hear from you how to be on that side of making a difference. So you can address both of those.
So I don't like sides. I think we're one planet, right? We're all sharing the one planet. I don't like sides. So there isn't a side, there's just users. We know of only 3 companies in the entire planet that do what we do. So we've spoken to a lot of the technology giants and even so there are no sides, there's just showing the world. So you can go to our website, which I hate saying. Some of our systems we want to deploy in Africa, right? For example, for preservation of animals from poachers, as you know. How do you put level 4 autonomy in a tiny drone? Computationally impossible, because you need to put not the Jepson GPU, but something much larger. But we can do that. So our drones actually have incredible extended range. Also explainable because of causal dynamics. So we're going to come out with a software development kit for other people soon. We are just inundated by servicing just government contracts right now. So forthcoming.
Well, any way we can help, we'd love to.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Zoe, last question. We have a minute and a half.
Real quickly, maybe I missed it, but why DC and not ACE?
Who here is in life sciences? I know there's one, Ed. Okay, in life sciences, why do we think that, when the human genome was mapped, we thought that we would cure all ailments? Where's that gone? There's a concept of sunk costs groupthink and, scientific leaning. So classical AI or deep learning just became mainstream. And it became profitable up to a certain extent, and people put so much money into it. It's the same thesis I did with Interven, where I always said cancer isn't just a genetic disease. Cancer is a disease you develop over time because of things you were, nature nurture. That's why my co-founder won a Nobel. I always say it's common sense. I just read a lot. And I question a lot. There.
So that takes us to time. Aldo, thank you for expanding all of our minds. Aldo is going to be around for a bit, and so don't flock him too much. But he'll gladly chat with you some more. Thank you very much.